Hello everyone, this is H the and I'm going to be casting a 1 versus 1, but this video is going to be more of a tutorial type video. It's not going to be, you know, a play-by-play action sequence, see who's the best player, and all that stuff. So it is going to be kind of a tutorial video, like I've said, that I was going to do, and this is sort of a lower tier game. These players are both friends of mine, pretty good friends, and I'm really not sure which bracket either player is in. I don't know if they've played 1v1. I think Heosat right here was telling me he hasn't played 1v1 in a couple of weeks, and I'm not sure exactly what Blackstalker's ranking is, but it's definitely not, you know, top tier diamond level or anything like that. So I'm going to be doing this sort of as a tutorial, and I'm going to try and watch what both players do. It's going to be hard to explain exactly what both players should do better. I mean, that takes quite a bit of work as I'm doing this in real time. This was a game that I watched live. I did watch this live as they were playing it, so it was pretty interesting. So it does look like Heosat got his good opener so far, where he gets his Overlord and then 13 drones. Now, it's really common to get your spawning pool at 13, but he's actually just going to keep pumping drones. You can get it at 15 as well, or you can even wait longer if you want. I prefer to get it at 13, sometimes 15, which it feels like you're losing minerals if you... Because once you get to 13, you have to actually save up for the spawning pool where you don't make drones, and it feels like you're losing minerals, but you got to remember that you're actually getting your queen faster. So he got this around 14. That's not too bad. No big issue there. And the wall in right now for Blackstalker, I'm not sure. That definitely doesn't look tight. You want to make sure to always make it tight. And Howie has this supply depot right here. It's number one, it's not up against the wall, and number two, I keep hitting the wrong key, it's also not against the barracks. So this is actually just leaving this wide open on both sides. So what he really need to do is put it either right there or put it right here. As the barracks, where the barracks is right now, he can just do the add-on and be just fine from there. So he did get his gas, and the timing of it is about what it should be. You want to have about 25 gas or more by the time your first Marine pops out, and you want to get that first Marine really, really quickly. So usually what I do is you get your supply depot, boom, and then you get your barracks. Once the barracks finishes, make one Marine, and by the time that Marine finishes, you should already have your gas done with your all three workers on there, and then that'll give you enough for the tech lab add-on. So he's actually opting to get the tech lab right away. I prefer to get one Marine just for, number one, if they do any kind of rush, number two, if they get a scouting worker in there, all that stuff. Now, this second gas, only do this second gas if you want to get really high-tech units. So he has a lot of his income on this second gas, and I don't know if he's actually going to be able to use all that gas or not. So taking a look at Heosat, it does look like he has his expansion pretty quickly. That's pretty standard here to get, you know, 13. You want to get your spawning pool on 13, and then you can get your hatchery shortly after that. Once your spawning pool is done and your hatchery is on the way, you can go ahead and get that queen. And I usually get 2 Zerglings to deal with the scouting worker in your base. Kind of the same way with Terran. I mean, look at this. He's actually getting a lot of gas, so he really needs to warrant having these 3 workers in gas. What I usually do is if I'm going to go a gas heavy build, easy for me to say, is I'll get 1 gas with 3 workers on it. I'll get the second gas, but I'll only leave 1 worker in there until I really need the gas. Then I transfer 2. Because the amount of workers you have in the early game, I mean, if you take 3 of those away, then that is a huge part of your economy. Now, one of the units that a lot of players like in the lower tier of play is going to be these Reapers. I highly recommend getting Reapers if you're someone who's in the lower ranks of StarCraft, because what the Reapers are going to do is a lot of times against the lower tier players is you'll get lucky or they just won't be able to handle them, because Reapers are really, really cost effective against noobs. You don't see them a lot against higher tier players because they aren't that cost effective, but against someone who can't really micro that well, you can definitely get those, and usually you can kill a lot of workers. I would just go with your first Reaper. I wouldn't save up for 3 Reapers. I would just go with exactly what you've got. So now he's going to run in here, and do note that Heosat doesn't actually have any attacking units yet. So if we look at the production tab, he's actually not making any Zerglings or anything. So he was macroing very, very hard. I mean, look how many drones he has down here, and also his mineral line is still fairly saturated. So going to use that queen. Fairly good control here from Blackstalker. He's going to keep all these alive. So what Heosat needs to do is either micro the queen back or micro the queen to actually hit the ones in the back that are low on HP. And bringing the drones out here, not the best idea. He could have just ran them away back here to save them a lot of the drones there. So he does have a bunch of Zerglings on the way. They just spawned right now. Now, how Heosat responded to that wasn't very good because, yeah, some of the drones did make it, but the problem is that you're getting the Reapers off of the creep, and the creep is where you really want them because look at this. The Zerglings can attack them and do damage to them no matter how fast they try and run away. So you want to keep your Zerglings on the creep as much as possible. If you're in a situation where you have two bases, and yeah, where you have two bases, so he has the one up here, no creep in the middle, so it slows down your units, and down here, you really want to try and keep your drones at the base they're at, because the Zerglings are fairly fast between, and you can run them back and forth. So now he has his drones down here. He's going to have to transfer some of them back up here at some point, which is once again going to lose even more mining time. So that's something to keep an eye out for, and since he has both gas, he really needs to start mining from there. You have to warrant every gas you get. You really have to warrant it, unless you, I mean, you just always, if you have 2 gas, you need to be mining from it, and if you don't need 2 gas, then obviously don't make it because it is a waste of time and minerals. So now it does look like Blackstalker is, well, he's macroing up here. I'm kind of curious as to the amount of SCVs he has. Okay, so after that attack, he whittled it down to 30 drones. He still only has 22 SCVs though, so the income should actually be pretty good for Heosat. Yeah, it's even higher with a mule going here for Blackstalker. So while he did a lot of damage with those Reapers, I would still say that Heosat's in this because he didn't have to make Zerglings. He did make drones, and he did lose quite a few, but you always got to remember, if they are attacking you very early with something like 3 Reapers, then, I mean, they're going to be behind as well, too. So he didn't do as much damage as probably he needed to, and he actually has shields already for his Marines. That is definitely interesting there. And does he have a 3rd barracks? No. So right now what he's doing is he's pumping Marines off of 2 barracks with only 1, or he has 2 tech labs. That's not what you want to do. You want to be making those Mars because look, he has a bunch of gas and a bunch of minerals. I just said those backwards. A bunch of minerals and a bunch of gas. There we go. So to pump Mass Marine, you could out of one of them, but you really should be making Marauders, I would say, out of the other one, unless you're going to be doing some super high-tech unit. But I mean, he's getting the Medvacs right now. Medvacs are dirt cheap, and you don't need to get those out super fast. But I am curious to see exactly what he does with that. So Heosat has macroed up a bunch of Zerglings. I would really recommend getting that Zergling speed, which he is. That is good. And he also has the Evo Chamber very early. A lot of players do forget to get that. And the upgrades are so cheap, man. 150, 150, or 100, 100. They are definitely very good to get that on those. So definitely worth it. And a lot of newer players do tend to forget that. Now the Hydralisk Den right here, not researching the upgrade yet, but like I said, once you have the gas, make sure you're mining from it. Don't make a geyser if you don't need it, because especially for Zerg, you're basically investing 4 drones into that geyser once it's up and running. So you really want to make sure that it is something you really, really need. And by investing 4 drones, I just simply mean, you have to take 1 drone to make it. So very early Medvacs here. Medvac pushes aren't as common anymore. They were really common in the beginning stages of the beta, and so the Medvac push is going to come right here, and the Zerglings, like, basically this is a really bad angle for Heosat to come in here because he can't surround them because of this right here, and also it's going to be hard to get us around because of the wall right there, so he is going to be forced to back out. What I would have done in this situation is I would have tried to have 1 creep colony on the way, or 1 spine crawler on the way, and you know, just kind of try and do the static defense, and then if they try and break down your rocks, then that's when you're going to get into a defensive position right here, and it would have been a lot better than right there. And really, the positioning was good though, and now he's going to have a lot of trouble dealing with this army. Gonna lose 1 queen right there as she explodes, and both the Medvacs are still up here. Look, they're so low on energy, they've been healing like crazy, and once again, good positioning here by Blackstalker, going to get behind these minerals to make it very difficult for these Zerglings. Look at the Zerglings, they run around like idiots when they are stuck in a corner like that. And I do want to mention that Heosat, he is setting up a creep highway, which is very good. It is going to allow him to do very quick counterattacks and stuff like that. And now